my name is Mahler, and what I want to focus on today is talk a little about my workflow, about tools that I'm using while working inside of ZBrush, about a few tricks that I've learned, and generally sharing, workflow ideas, workflow experience, etc. This model will be my battlefield. It's a work in progress model that I'm currently working on. What I want to talk about is the local transformations button here. And what it will define is how your model rotates on your canvas. If the button is off, your model will always rotate around its defined pivot. If the button is on, ZBrush will automatically always frame the selection to the last part that you edited. So it's really great, as you see. For working on detail areas, only want to work on this eyelid area and have the feature on, you will always be able to focus on this certain area. So the next thing that I learned to love while sculpting inside of ZBrush is mouse averaging. You find this feature inside of the stroke palette. And what it does actually is it averages your mouse movements. It averages your mouse while rotating and while painting. And it will prevent dot painting that can happen if you're doing really high quality sculpting. Okay, the next thing that is really important to me while sculpting is the material palette. I basically use 3 materials while sculpting. The fast shader is the default shader, neat for blocking and stuff like that. But most of the time while sculpting I use the basic material shader. It's especially great for displaying surface details, stuff like that. It's really great thanks to the specular component. Makes sculpting often a lot easier. And another cool shader that I always use is the flat color shader. Flat color shader can be used for checking readability and the silhouette of your model, stuff like that. And if you're a Mahler XSI user, you will know this shader. You can check wireframes, check topology, work out topology issues, smooth topology in this mode is really great. You don't have too much shading going on. It's really, readable, stuff like that. Make use of this shader. Don't underestimate it. It's really great for general sculpting. I would suggest, using the basic shader, the basic material, thanks to the specular component. It's really neat. So don't stay with the fast shader. It's often great to get a fresh eye on your model. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the mask system inside of ZBrush. What masks will let you do is define areas that will not be deformed if you use any of your general deformers in your tool palette or any of your edit tools. Okay, so there are actually 2 ways to define a mask. First way is to be in edit draw mode. With your cursor over your geometry, just hold Ctrl, and with the left mouse button you'll be able to quickly paint a mask directly onto your model. Another way would be to, outside of your geometry, hold Ctrl, left mouse button click and drag, to rectangle, select areas of your model. If you want to deselect your mask, you can simply do this by holding Ctrl and Alt. In draw mode, you'll be able to paint deselect your masked area. If you're in move mode, you'll be able to rectangle deselect your masked areas. If you want to clear your mask, just hold Ctrl outside of your geometry, left mouse button click and drag, and your mask will be cleared. Another very effective way to manipulate a mask is to just Ctrl and left mouse button click outside of your geometry. You'll be able to quickly invert a masked area. So when do I actually use masks? Masks are extremely useful. On this model I used masks, for example, on this lower eyelid area here. for being able to quickly grab the upper eyelid area and do the slight overlap to get a more natural flow. Another area where you could use a mask to your advantage is opening a mouth area. Of course, just define the area. If you have a model with a closed mouth and you want to open the mouth, just define an area, the upper mouth area, and rotate the jaw or move the jaw, make it open. I use it constantly while modeling. It's really awesome. It's a feature that I would hate to miss, and it makes your life a lot easier.